Hi, Taurians. This is your singles love reading for March 2017. I pulled 6 cards and then I clarified each one and then pulled some from the Romance Angel Oracle decks, as well as looked at the bottom of each deck for clarification. So starting off, we have the Ace of Wands upright. This talks about being crazy in love with somebody, very passionate and sexual. A very fertile relationship. There's lots there, but it's mostly going to be sexual. When there's 2 of Cups involved, which you do have later on, talks about this relationship is damaging to your reputation or just dangerous. Basically, you have a very like a large sexual attraction to this person. And you may get what you want from this person because they feel a lot about you. This could also be getting a new home and beginning a new phase. And I say getting a new home just because there's a couple other cards in here that mention that too, okay? Clarifying, or going to the next card, which clarifies Ace of Wands, we got 2 of Wands. So we go from Ace to 2, but the 2's in reverse. So I was thinking about that. And this tells me you're unable to decide. You feel abandoned by a partner. Like they suddenly left and then they suddenly returned. And you're trying to just stay kind of cool, collected, mundane, so you avoid getting taking any risks with this person. And that's actually the smart strategy. But the main reason I see you doing that is because with the Ace of Wands and the 2 of Wands, it says, you know, you're not really sure if they've come back, if you're going to have sex again. Because here's this crazy, wild sex, and here you're like, here is like, you are definitely having sex again. Okay, but it's in reverse. So you're trying to decide, and you're not really sure, but possibly no. Because remember, you want to avoid risk. This says recovery, and victory is just not really certain. Because you know the kind of person this is. And like you get in all your readings, especially with Wands, you know what's coming up, Taurus. Okay, who is this person? You know who it is. I'm going to tell you in a minute. But with Ace and 2 of Wands, it says there is no new phase. Okay, so normally this is like new phase, and then here with this, you're not wanting to start a new phase because it's too risky, and you feel like you have no other choice. Okay. But basically, beforehand, there was an outcome you had expected, and you didn't get it. Like, what you wanted had failed in reality. And, like, your lover's feelings, like, they just continually lost interest in you, and you lost hope for the relationship. Okay? Like, here, you just, like, you could not make your dreams come true. Okay, clarifying both of those. We got 2 cards that to me are the same thing. Okay, a coming together of 2 lovers, but they're both in reverse. So this tells me there is no commitment with this person, and that's why you're choosing not to have sex with them. Like, these are supposed to be commitment when they're upright, but they're not. So this tells me you're out of a union. Also, I see a lack of deep love. It's very shallow. These talk about abandonment, separation. And at first I thought, well, maybe you're just too afraid of abandonment, and that's not really what's going on. But further on in the reading, it seems like you made the right choice. Or that you will make it. But you're too afraid to commit more than just a little bit or halfway, because you're afraid of being abandoned. Now it says sometimes when this comes up, especially I think when they're next to each other, it says you could be in a soulmate relationship, but you got into this relationship before you loved yourself. So this person could be a soulmate, but it's not working because you haven't loved yourself first. And you think about what happens if you love yourself. Well, you don't put up with shit, you love yourself. And at some point, this person got the idea that they could treat you a certain way and it was okay. But see, when I see both of these in reverse, I see this person's not my soulmate. So that's only sometimes it means it comes up and they're your soulmate. Normally, if I saw like a nicer card around anywhere in the reading, I would say yes, you're just having some issues with loving yourself. But here, I see you don't love yourself and you're not with your soulmate. And that's probably why you've gone back to this person before, or you've been with each other. But you're making a change, and I like to hear that or see that, because you're deciding not to go with them again because it's just too risky. The next card is Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups says, you have a choice, okay? And also this tells me this person has a lot of choices out there. They can date, they can go on the internet, they can do what they want. And this is usually about delusions and confusing. And here, this person can't decide, and it's right next to it, so there's a lot of confusion going on. And you're just going to withdraw and reflect and meditate to get like a bird's eye perspective to see what's going on. So usually this means there's no intentional deceit with someone. And normally I would agree, but next to it, we have the Magician in reverse. And that's a manipulator if I ever saw one. Okay. So even though this is deceit without intent, this person would intend to deceive somebody. But it could just be that's their personality. Like, this is the con man. He cons people. And so you're kind of falling into this kind of fantasy or this delusion about this person. And you're in this transformation process. It says, don't press for communication with the person. And here, this is lack of communication. So I agreed. Don't try to communicate with them. Let's see, with the Two of Cups and the Magician, normally when they're upright, it says, you've been swept off your feet and your feet probably haven't touched the ground yet. But here, since they're both in reverse, you've kind of seen the light. You're like, yeah, I was swept off my feet, but my feet are on the ground now. But if it is for some reason saying you're still off your feet for whatever reason, this could be saying, yeah, I'm still in this fantasy of like the first impression they gave me. And you're just not wanting to see what's going on. Also, just want to go back for a second to the Lovers and Two of Cups. This says you have to choose between what you desire and what's good for you. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Just with this Two of Wands, this person's not good for you, but they're very magnetic, very sexual, and that's something you want, but you also want them to be faithful and stick around. So you have to decide between what's good for you and what you want, because there's no equal partnership here. Okay, you're not on the even playing field with this person. And it says you can either settle or hold out for more. And if you loved yourself, which this says you don't, you would hold out for better, okay? And that's going to be like the title of your reading, I assume, is just to love yourself. Clarifying Seven of Cups, we got King of Wands. King of Wands, It's just somebody who's very adventurous, very sexual. This is the person whom you're having this relationship with. You have a lot of wands in your reading, so there's a lot of passion. It's probably with a fire sign like Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I'm going to say Sagittarius just because one of his cards comes up. Let's see. This person's just unavailable. They're full of life and they're attractive. And you probably met them, out and about through work or traveling. But they're just not available. And he tells you he's attracted to you. But remember, they're dangerous for your reputation, so they're a secret lover. Nobody knows about them. Clarifying Magician upright, which is the manipulator. Also right next to the King of Wands, we have this guy. I tell you I hate him. Knight of Wands, okay? He's a one-night stand. He can't commit. Now, the only way it works with this guy, because this is like Sagittarius ruled card. This isn't the Sagittarius card, okay? But it is under their name in some areas. I think whenever Saturn is in Sagittarius, I can't remember exactly. But the way to make it work with this person is to not be clingy, okay? And if you don't love yourself and you have a fear of abandonment, you're going to be naturally more clingy than what this person can tolerate. And so that's a factor that could be playing into this cyclical friends with benefit, one night stand type of thing. So if you love yourself first, you wouldn't be dealing with this person. But that's not saying it would work out, I don't think. I think it's just saying you would never have to deal with this in the first place. Also, Knight of Wands talks about moving. And the reason I said that is because, we had a card about moving just a minute ago. Knight of Wands means moving. And then next to the Knight of Wands, we have Three of Pentacles, which again talks about moving into a new home. So it looks like you're getting a new house, because we have 3 cards talking about that. But coming over to strength, we have strength in reverse. Now, with the Two of Cups and strength, this says you have no confidence in the relationship, and I don't blame you. Okay. With the Two of Cups and the Magician, it says, you're swept off your feet. Like, really swept off your feet, but it's a con man and he's going to abandon you. We've had this reading before, Taurians. Like, this is just warning you of this person, and this is for singles in the month of March. Okay? You could meet this person while traveling or through work. So just keep an eye out. And you probably know this person because they've been in your life before. And just reading some of your comments, some of you said, oh, well, this is my person from the past, they better not come back. Well, if that's for you, they're coming back. For others of you, you're just trying to decide not to take that next step because you can kind of see what he's all about. Plus, you've seen this video, so you know what he's all about. And again, he could be from a foreign culture, of whatever foreign culture is different from yours. Clarifying the strength, talking about you feel like you can't handle something. And this also talks about very controlling relationship, very dominant. So again, with all this passion, I see like a bondage BDSM type of relationship. Okay, this person may be polyamorous. And for people who don't know, that means somebody who is in a relationship with multiple people at the same time. Basically, you're lacking courage and you're depressed and hopeless. And this person's disrespecting other people, which would be you. And it says, you have to let go and let God, okay? You feel like you're losing control. And the thing is, you're not, okay? This person's just a bad person. And with the Magician, especially since they're both in reverse, normally this would say there's lots of possibilities. Because look, we have infinity and infinity. Like, we have infinite possibilities with this person. This is going to be you, that's going to be him. But they're in reverse. So you're this person who you can't tame this wild man, and he's a con man. He can't really manifest anything either because he's just a lowlife. But there's not infinite possibilities with this person. Like, there's no hope. It's not working. It may be passionate, but it's not worth it, okay? Like, they're going to take you for granted. Alright, clarifying that is the Three of Pentacles, which again tells me third party, or just multiple parties. This person thinks that they can date around, okay? Again, talking about, that home I was telling you about. Yeah, that's mostly what I get from that. There's just like a third party going on, or, more than one, obviously. The next one is the King of Wands again, okay? King of Wands showed up twice in here. And each time, we're telling you that he's not committing. He's just an older version of the Knight of Wands. And then, with the Knight of Wands, it tells, about a sudden beginning and a sudden end. Like, your feet haven't even touched the ground before he's gone. Like, he's supposed to show your feet are still in the air, and then bam, he's already gone. And then when your feet come down to reality, it sucks really bad. Clarifying King of Wands, we have Seven of Pentacles in reverse. So with Seven of Pentacles and Two of Cups, I see that this person, like, there's no relationship with this person, okay? With Seven of Pentacles and Ace of Wands, you had this relationship, you're trying to nurture a new love, but then you realized nurturing this love is not a good investment. It's not very wise. Seven of Pentacles and the Magician talks about things are not manifesting, things are not working. Here, you're trying to weigh your life choices, your relationships, and you're trying to decide if it's worth the investment. Here, that person's not even thinking about their life choices or their relationships. They probably don't even have any friends, okay? And even though they're very magnetic and lively, they don't have anything of substance because they are not of substance, at least not at this point. They probably need to go through that Seven of Cups transformation, but they're not, okay? Not at this point. So this tells me that, you were deciding if it was a good investment previously, but now you're not. You just realize it's a bad investment. You don't need to invest in this person. These sevens are all about planning and strategy. You have the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles. So this tells me about reflection and assessing, figuring out motives, just discovering things like the ultimate truth. And sometimes you're not going to understand things unless it's from experience. And so you might go through a period of introspection or solitude, or you already have. And again, realizing through experience, some of you have already had this experience, so oh, nope, not going to happen this time, okay? Even though all these things are happening. For some of you, you haven't had experience with them yet, and so you may just have to learn, the hard way, okay? Basically, bad investment, don't do it. You're going to be very weak, and you're going to really have problems with that abandonment issue after you get a hold of them, okay? Crowning the whole reading, we have Six of Wands in reverse. This says it's too good to be true. The relationship peaks, really soon. Like, remember, your feet haven't even touched the ground yet, and it's over. So it peaks almost as soon as it starts. You have that sudden start and sudden departure. Also, this talks about disillusionment, which again brings me back to Seven of Cups, being disillusioned, probably on purpose because they're a con man. And you have a betrayal, probably reminiscent of Three of Pentacles. There's a betrayal going on, and it's just very short-lived. And if you were in competition with other women or other men, depending on who's the gender here, you lost the competition. And honestly, honey, they're not a prize worth winning, so I wouldn't even worry about it. Alright. The clarification deck, the overall thoughts, Ten of Swords in reverse. So when I see this in reverse, this is like doubly done. Like here, bad breakup, universe pulled the rug out from under you, rejection, bitter end, betrayal. Again, so we have 2 betrayal cards. Just being a victim and immobilized. Very painful ending. And here, you are ready to get out of the situation. Okay? Like you are done as done can be. Stick a fork in you. Okay? This also, like the swords can fall out of the person's body. Remember, upright, the swords are inside the guy's spine. And he can't move. He's just kind of stuck in all this torture and suffering. And here, the swords can fall out and he's mobile again. He can move on. So you're done, you're moving on. Good for you. Then, let's see here. Also, 10s talk about completion. So like you're super done. You're having an end of a cycle. You're going to be renewed. And then you're going to go back to 1. An Ace of Swords just talks about triumph and love and infatuation, but not necessarily with this person, okay? Just in general. You might go back to 1 and love yourself. And also I think it's funny that 2 of Cups is Venus in Cancer, which is love in Cancer. And Cancer is represented by the Chariot. And Chariot talks about loving yourself first. And you have it in reverse, which again tells me you don't love yourself. But you're going to go back to the Ace of Swords. And this card represented by the Chariot, you're going to get this. You're going to combine the different aspects of yourself and you're going to end up loving yourself. To clarify this reading, I pulled out some love cards. First one I got is you are not optimistic about your love life. And I can see why. Because you've met or you keep meeting this person. Okay. But to fix it, you're going to have to be optimistic, okay? The next card I got was you're not freeing yourself. I think in your last reading you got this relationship and it was tied to the devil, which is like a very strong, almost karmic connection. And you're not freeing yourself. So you're not free right now. You're in bondage. You have to fix it by freeing yourself. And then I got true love. I was like, well, wait a second. This person is not somebody's true love according to this reading. And then I realized, it doesn't have to be about romance, okay? It could be about loving yourself, being true to yourself. And then once that happens, you can find true love. So you have to be optimistic. You have to free yourself. And once you do those things, you'll find true love. You're probably saying, well, how do I free myself? How do I, stay optimistic about my love life? This is terrible. And I want to find my true love. Well, what you got on the bottom of the Romance Angel Oracle deck was something that I've been saying through this reading. You have to love yourself first. So there's some self-esteem issues going on here, okay? And that's kind of what got you in here, but it's also what can get you out. It says your self-respect makes you more attractive romantically. So if you respect yourself and you have barriers and limits and rules, then you won't have to fall for this person again. You'll get that true love. The true love, realizes, she respects herself, so I need to respect her too. And here, I think you're starting to make that decision. Like, okay, this time around, no, I'm not gonna be with him. I'm not gonna have sex because you see no chance of it working out. And that's taking the first steps in loving yourself, okay? Because right here you don't, but you're taking those steps. You're working on it, okay? So, Taurians, that's your reading. I'm sorry this guy keeps coming up. That's how you know the cards aren't lying. This person's out there. Whether it's somebody you haven't met yet or somebody you've known and they're coming back. Okay? But my advice is, you're going to have to love yourself in order for you to get to true love. Alright, be happy, Taurians.